Alrighty, welcome back to Creepers Peepers. I'm one of your three hosts. My name is Mimi Dybs. I'm a voiceover actor and an aspiring horror actor.
And I'm Sara Mullins. I am a writer-producer. I write horror screenplays, and I am the resident horror historian in the group.
I'm Aarti Hari Chopra. I am a resident terrified human who is not the biggest horror fan, but I love horror. I'm starting to love horror, and this has been a good experience into that.
We'll see how she feels after today's movie.
Yeah, this might be the end of the podcast. We'll see if, because Blair Witch was, I feel like starting kind of small.
Oh, it was elementary compared to this.
So I feel like
I have a feeling.
This could be the end of this.
No, hopefully not.
I keep making a joke that at some point I will be like, and I will go outside.
Yeah. Which honestly, I was like, last time I was like, Aarti, if you want to go upstairs at any point, she was like, shut up, I'm finishing this movie, even if it kills me, damn it. And I was like, I respect that.
Because here's the thing, I have a problem. I have a deep problem. And my problem is once I start something, I have to finish it. And this is why I rarely start things, because once I start, I have to finish it. I literally have to.
That's perfect.
Which means that you have to finish this podcast.
Yes.
And it doesn't end until we get through the entire horror catalog.
Yes.
Like every horror movie ever?
Get on my level, Aarti.
Just to kind of...
podcast will never end. This is the horror movie. Never end. This is the real horror movie all along.
It never ends.
I'm trapped.
No, literally. But also, okay, so for everyone, obviously this is the second episode, but just to kind of recap, this is a horror movie recap podcast, heavily inspired by Too Scary Didn't Watch. If anyone knows Too Scary Didn't Watch, or if you don't know, definitely check them out. They're fantastic. Whereas they go scene by scene and explain the whole movie, which is really great. I cannot recommend them enough. We do not do that. We will give a reaction before we watch the week's movie pick and then after. And I feel like that's kind of fun. I feel like that's a fun little thing to do.
I like it. I think it's a fun little peek, especially for our dear friend Aarti, who's this is all new to.
I brought whimsy today.
Yes.
I brought unicorn horns and
that's all you need
for our face. I brought whimsy.
Yes, damn it. And I love it. Okay, so today's horror pick horror pick is The Shining. What? Okay, so I've never seen it.
I've never seen it, and I know nothing of it but that one scene that's like the classic.
What is the classic?
Because there's multiple options here.
Well, there is. Isn't this the one where Jack Nicholson goes like crazy?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's the scene
you
that
gotta
you're...
be more specific,
it's the
though.
one where he's like hacking through the door.
Okay, when he's like, "Where's Johnny?" I don't know who Johnny is.
Yes,
but I know that.
This is the one with the two twins.
Too, yes, right.
That's where The Shining is kind of the original creepy twins movie. Also, the elevator gushing blood is pretty iconic as well.
I don't know that I know that
didn't know
scene.
about that. Thank you for the spoilers.
I'm sorry.
Spoiler. Oh my God, you spoiled the whole movie. It's about an elevator.
You know what? It's been out
for
bloody
elevator.
60 years. So,
That's fair. That's fair. Honestly.
Really?
It came out in the 70s.
But that's also the thing, because again, going back to
I'm good at math.
Oh, hell yeah. Wait, is that a joke, or are you actually good at math?
I'm fine at math.
Oh, I'm really bad at math.
I just don't do it very much, so I get a little rusty.
Oh, that's fair. But the fact that people will sometimes say spoiler-esque things, and I'll be like, spoiler, and they're like, you know what? It's been out for so many years that at this point, I don't care.
That's on you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you haven't seen it. I don't know what to tell you type thing. And that's kind of what inspired us to create this podcast. Sarah was down to rewatch a lot of these. She's seen them in her youth. She's still in her youth. What am I talking about? She saw them in her super youth. She saw them when she was 9.
Wizened horror.
When she was a kid. I haven't seen any of them because I'm foreign. And then Aarti hasn't seen any of them because she's a recent horror she's dipping her toes in horror.
Yes, I usually avoided horror. Well, again, I have seen a couple horror movies.
Right.
And here's the thing. It's not that I don't love horror. I love horror. I love the stories. I love the vibes. It's that the problem is the moment the movie is over, I will not sleep for like a year or two. And so I was like, okay, I have to avoid it. Not out of like, and that's the thing.
For my mental health.
Love all the stories. Like every time I'm like, oh, this sounds so interesting. And then I'm like, oh, but I will.
It'll haunt me. It will haunt me.
It will haunt me. My imagination is a little too overactive.
Which is why you're such a good fantasy writer.
I am such a good fantasy writer.
Exactly.
I'm really good at it.
It makes sense. The whimsy, the fantasy, it's all there. But I think what you said on the last podcast for the Blair Witch Project episode, you did mention that like fantasy is pretty horror adjacent. And I think that helps to think about it that way, because it's like, if you can leave the fantasy stories at the door, which actually, what am I saying? You probably don't leave fantasy stories at the door. I feel like you live in them. But if there's any way for you to like separate
a unicorn horn right now, I don't know what you want from me.
True. There is no leaving anything. But yeah, with this, it's like, you know, sometimes maybe it'll make things a little less scary if we talk about them too.
Well, and I think that's why I say I do love horror as a genre. I just am like, because it's like there is so much in there that is very much in line with the stuff I love to talk about, you know?
Love. Amaze. Okay, so as far as what our expectations are, I don't know anything about it. I really am going blind, besides those, you know, classic things that everyone knows about, like the twins and stuff. Someone explained it to me, I think, or maybe I saw some vague overarching thing that said like it's about a person who loses their mind slowly, basically throughout the movie. The movie is about Jack Nicholson losing his mind, but outside of that, I don't know what to expect. So I guess it's just more of a psych thriller in that sense.
Yeah, it is. It's a psychological thriller, and it's an interesting movie because the original short story was written by Stephen King. And it's actually, the short story I think is very different. I have not read it, so that's my gap in my horror career. But I do know
gap,
that there is some controversy about it. And
wait, about the short story or about the movie?
Just about like people not liking the difference in yes. So there's some like debate about when the movie first came out that like it's significantly different than the book, or the short story rather. But it is directed by arguably one of the greatest directors of the 70s, which is Stanley Kubrick.
Okay.
And the filmmaking in it is incredible.
I'm excited.
So it's a bit of a divergence from the short story, but still on its own an incredible film, incredible performances, and it's pretty spooky. So
well, and I think I'll say this about adaptation, because I know me and Sarah have talked about this a lot at length when it comes to adaptation. I think what's really hard sometimes for people to like understand, and I think even for me, it took me a really long time to swallow sort of this pill in a sense, which is that I think all adaptation is valid. And I think the problem is that like, because that's the thing, I think so many people, no matter what type of adaptation you're talking about, because especially being in the fantasy space, there is so much of it, right?
Totally, yeah.
People get so upset. They're like, it wasn't what I imagined in my head. And I go, it's because the hope is that the showrunner or the director or the writer of the adaptation is like doing their version of it, their truest version of it.
Yeah.
And like, there's some people that are going to connect to that, and there's some people that aren't. And like,
but you get two standalone pieces.
And
at the end of the day,
you could make 15 different versions of like Dune. And here's the thing, every single one of those versions would be valid. They would just all be so different from each other.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's depending on who's adapting it. In this case, I guess Stanley Kubrick, or he probably had a pretty big hand, obviously, as the director in how it's portrayed as a story. But I'm really excited because I really don't know what to expect. I feel like the Descent into Madness is wild, but like, are there I don't know. I don't know whether to not expect jump scares. I don't know whether or not it has haunting vibe. I don't know if it has gore. I don't know.
There's a lot of further lore to the like Stephen King universe in particular.
Ooh, okay.
And so there's a lot of layers of things going on in this movie. I think the movie does a pretty good job of just like balancing these like mystical hints, but it never really answers your questions about the world.
Yeah.
But it's
I'm
really,
excited
really
to deep
good.
dive then after we
Yeah.
watch it, after having seen what the story's about. That's what I did last time too. After watching Blair Witch Project, I not only listened to the Too Scary Didn't Watch version of it, which I highly recommend. If anyone's listening to this and then they want to listen to that, definitely do so because it's great. It's a great recap of the whole movie scene by scene. But also, I like deep dove into TikToks about like Blair Witch and like, there's people being like things you didn't know about the Blair Witch. Or like, I'm sure there's a ton of videos that I've skipped past that are like little things that you didn't know about The Shining. Cause I'm like, well, I don't know anything about The Shining. So this isn't going to really hit the same way, but I'm excited to deep dive. I love a good tism deep dive. I like it scratches my brain. I'm like on there for hours. John's like, you've listened to 3 podcasts about this and watched endless videos. How much is enough? I'm like, never. There is no end to this. I need to know everything about it.
I love that though. I
The
love
hyperfixation. So yeah, I'm excited to hyperfixate.
Love it.
Yay. All right. Well, we'll check back in after the movie.
After the movie.
Yay.
I'm excited.
Welcome back. We watched The Shining, which I guess was shorthand for some sort of psychic ability. So that's fun. Now I know that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
The more you know.
The more you know. The kid had it. Dick Van Dyke. Nope, that's not his last name.
Dick
What's his last name? Halloran?
Dick Halloran.
Halloran. Dick
Yeah.
Halloran had it. Yeah, I love Shelley Duvall, right?
Yes, Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall
plays
is
Wendy.
an icon, and I'm obsessed with her.
We do,
So this will be a newfound hyperfixation of mine. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I personally love Shelley Duvall because she's just the purest of souls, and she's in my opinion stunning in a weird way, which I love.
Yes.
So,
but it's funny though, Aarti. What are your thoughts on Shelley Duvall?
I love
Your honest opinion.
Look, I get it. She's not my type.
Yeah.
She's not my type.
Yeah.
I want to be clear. She's not my type. And I think that also at some point in the movie, I think I realized it's like, I think like we all need hot people in movies. We all do. We
Yeah.
want hot people.
Yeah.
We need people
Movies
we're
hit
attracted
different
to.
when people you think are hot are in it. Yes.
Exactly. And so I think you guys enjoyed the movie
Yeah.
more because there was someone that, and like for me, she just didn't do it. Like I want curvier women. You know what I mean?
For sure.
and I get it. I get it.
That totally
It
checks out.
is Shelley Duvall, as far as like attractiveness scale, is an acquired taste.
She's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
I
She's
agree.
a Tim
And
Burton. She is I said at some point, she's the real life corpse bride. So she's pretty in that like Tim Burton-y way. Truly. Her facial structure and her eyes and the way she does horror is so like, I feel like that's Tim Burton's muse. That's like who Winona Ryder took from, you know?
I truly feel like Tim Burton had to be influenced by Shelley Duvall.
100%. I would be shocked if he was like, Shelley who?
Yeah, yeah.
I love Winona Ryder. I love
okay.
Winona Ryder, but Shelley Duvall, she just wasn't doing it for me.
I think
sorry.
she also came from a Twiggy era.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very 60s. I could have,
Mhm.
oh my God, her in like,
But
she's
also-
a 60s model through and through.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Also that run. I'm so sorry.
so
That
good.
run.
The prissy run.
Iconic.
I love
It's
it.
the I'm running in heels.
Yes. I love her though. Honestly, I kept writing it or chalking it up to she's in shock. But that only gets you so far. So I'm like, okay, this run is actually crazy.
The
Here's the thing.
run is very questionable. Like
the run is crazy.
I can forgive her moments of like panic of like not doing things.
Yeah, Sarah
But
and
the
I were like,
run-
let her get there. She'll get there. We kept defending her to Aarti. And then Aarti goes, that run. And Sarah just goes, no, it's unredeemable.
It's unforgivable.
I feel like, look, I'll start off, I guess. I just didn't like it. I'm
That's
sorry.
fair. That's fair.
That's all right.
I feel like for me the whole time I was like, why are you not removing yourself from this situation? And I don't know if it's like a trauma thing for me, because I think I said this where I was like, I don't know if it's like because my brain is like, having been raised in that trauma, like the sign is right there. Girl, you should have left. You should have left before the snowstorm. He was already going. Like, why are you still there? Why are you keeping it? Like, and then like every time she froze the shot, I was like, girl, just fucking move. Just fucking, like, finally she stabbed the guy. And I felt like, literally,
well, that's the thing. I think
like,
everything you were saying, I was like, give her a second. And then she got there. That's what I appreciated about her character. But I'll save my thoughts to,
Oh no, that's just I also think I just got tired and cranky at some point. I'm going to be really honest.
No,
like
totally.
I think I just got tired and cranky, and I was just like, "Girl, can you please can we rush this along?
Like,
can
be
you
so
just,
for real?
Can you cuz like I don't know." And I think like I just got annoyed because I felt like everyone here had really bad survival skills, and at some point Danny started to get smart, and I was like, "Yes,
covering
Danny,
his tracks."
thank you. Yeah, like when he started covering his tracks, and I was like, "Thank you. Someone here has survival skills coming in. We love this."
But I do think that at some point, Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she started to lose her mind because she saw a furry giving a business guy fellatio. That is not something you see every day.
I understand her freezing and being like, what the fuck is going on?
Like,
but every moment before that, I didn't understand it. I was like, girl, save yourself, move. Survival instincts kick in, please. Like, once you start seeing a businessman with a furry,
Here's an argument to the idea that like she saw this coming, because the whole premise of the movie is that you're not entirely sure if like this is all happening in his head or if the hotel is literally doing things to them. So her reaction being shocked and her reaction being not ready for the things that Jack is saying and doing lends credence to the idea that maybe before this he wasn't like this.
Yes.
And I think we talked about this where you were like, the whole point is like the movie is trying to put that question in your mind of like which one it is.
Yep.
Right.
I think for me, the problem is because we don't have an establishment of who he is beforehand, I'm just annoyed. I'm like, girl, what was he like? It feels like he was always like this or sort of heading in this direction.
But
and
that's
so the moment he starts acting this way.
I'm saying that that's on purpose, is that they want you to wonder about it.
But I'm not wondering. I'm just annoyed. I'm sorry. Like I'm being really honest. I'm sorry. I'm just annoyed. And I'm like, girl, you shouldn't be with it. Like, and like, that's a thing where I'm like,
well, like at some point, Aarti and I were like, divorce.
Right? Because that's the
divorce
thing. At a
immediately.
certain point, it doesn't matter if it's the hotel doing it to him or if it's him going crazy. At a certain point, you're realizing that this man is going mad. Like, you needed to, like, because she's even on the radio with the guy. Like, you needed to be letting people know and be aware that something might be happening here, or to get your kid out because he's not doing, like, the fact, like, I feel like for me, it's just like she took so long. I'm like, Bish, you got to make decisions here. You got to move.
But I do think it's a very genuine struggle to, it's an interesting, like, philosophical, I guess, struggle to put yourself through. Because during that, I was saying, like, out loud, like, if someone I knew for years and years was, like, the sweetest, kindest person in the world. Now, granted, to your point, I don't think we know that. I think it would have given more, it would have made me have more sympathy for her if we had a very clearly established pattern of him being like super understanding and sweet to her. Granted, he wasn't like as terrible, obviously, as he became when he fully lost his mind, but like he was just kind of like mediocre man husband.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like, either way, I think we would have asked that same question, because he's like isolated in the middle of the mountains, and like, you know, he's left his job as a teacher. We don't really know what happened there. Like, either way, I think we would have asked the question of, is it the hotel or is it him doing this? But I think that establishment of who he was beforehand would have lended us to have a little more sympathy for her, or a little more understanding of why she's keeping herself in this situation. But
I will say Sarah's point about the weather. Sarah, take it away.
Oh yeah.
And now to Sarah with the weather.
But that was a month in on a Tuesday. Like,
Tuesday, very important.
I guess and we don't see what happens in the month that they're there.
Yeah.
We skip from a month to Tuesday, and we don't
For
know
some reason,
when.
Tuesday's important. It had a whole title card.
It's Tuesday.
We don't
All our
actually
improv fans.
see a majority of the time that they're there and how they evolve in the space. And I think that's on purpose. But to your point about the weather, at a certain point, even if she didn't realize what was that her husband was going insane before, at a certain point, after the snowstorm, there's no going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Lest you freeze to death.
And all they had was not a closed snowmobile, but like a bobcat. Like
yeah.
Right. Until Dick got there with his.
So it's really tough for her to go anywhere, especially with a child in those conditions.
Yeah.
But she does push herself to being like, okay, I think she was, I really love how they made her like think to I push him down push him out of the window down this very convenient snow slide that happened to get him down to the ground incredibly safely. I will say my critique of the film not being as scary, obviously, as what we're used to, would be the fact that like there was a happy ending. The fact that like Shelley Duvall survived and Danny survived and they rode off and everything except for the Dick, R.I.P. Dick. Obviously, he got probably the worst of it.
Yeah,
by having been like axed to death. But also like to me, I feel like scary movies now are like no survivors or very little survivors. Back then, like this seems like a happy ending.
I think that there were way more happy endings in the older horror movies.
Yeah, it's like they were like, no, we can't kill the child. The people will riot.
Yeah,
and it's like now they're like all children dead.
Here's
the first episode of Welcome to Derry, all children dead. Murder them all.
The happy ending is not what took away from the scariness for me. Like, I think you could have like made that movie. I think you could have made that movie scary and still had a happy ending. Because
I don't think so. For me, the happy ending negates all of it. Really, I'm like, well, you still survived, and now you have a bomb-ass story to tell at your next interview. If you don't get hired, I will personally come down there and vouch for you because that is batshit. You are gonna get movie deals. You're gonna get a book deal when you get back. I don't know
because I think about like something like I don't know, Bly Manor, for example, right? Like that had sort of this like happy or sweet end. Like you can do a sweet ending to
while still being scared.
While still being scary, it's about making sure the story itself is scary. And I think for me, this just wasn't scary. Like it just wasn't scary. I was just annoyed. Like I was so annoyed. I think Sarah like gave me a few looks at one point, and I started to get the look from Sarah, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I have to shut my mouth because like I was just annoyed. I was just so deeply annoyed.
That's fair. It is a very low cast film. Like
there's nothing wrong with not liking one of these movies. Like there are plenty that are not very likable.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like we talked about, it's more of like a film study than it is a film watching for the viewing pleasure experience. You know, like watching a film can still be pleasurable even if you don't like the movie. This is social studies, damn it. This is culture studies. This is welcome to our class. Wow, we should have what's that called? Master class?
Masterclass.
We should do a masterclass on this.
I don't know. I'm gonna be really honest here. I think part of why I'm annoyed though, because I feel like all the things I'm yelling about Shelley Duvall's character is like also how I feel about myself and where I'm like, bitch, just walk out the door. Just walk away. Why are you taking so long? The writing is on the goddamn fucking wall. Yeah. Like you're a grown ass adult. Why are you doing this?
But that is the whole point of horror, is showing a mirror to society and to you.
But I'm just angry, Sarah. I'm not scared. I'm fucking angry.
Welcome to the stages of grief. No, I'm kidding. You're at the anger phase. You will come to the acceptance phase soon.
Oh, this is making me more annoyed. Okay, no, Sarah, totally come on, take it away. Be our teacher. Be our wise guru. Tell us all about this movie.
About The Shining.
I will say specifically, there's something about a 20s party. It's why I love The Great Gatsby so much. That 20s era, that Gilded Age has like such an interesting draw about it that I do really enjoy the little lore of like, and then it turns out he was there the whole time. Like, but can you explain to me more about the cyclical nature of what you were saying? How you were like, he's been here before? What does that mean?
Yeah. So the interesting thing about, and this is more into the lore of Stephen King himself.
Is this like a past lives thing or like a
sort of? Yeah. It is. So
right. Like, did he reincarnate?
In the Dark Tower universe, there is like an element of like cyclicalness. Like everything in Stephen King novels and short stories has kind of been connected in the Dark Tower universe, where it's a multiverse where good and evil are constantly fighting with each other, and so that kind of comes up.
I love how you bring that up like it's a novelty. I'm like, so life.
I was literally
I'm like,
I feel like you're literally describing like Hinduism and like Buddhism and Sufi. Like, well, that's literally
it's what it's drawing from. It's not like it's coming independently. It is a fantasy interpretation of of the way that our world works.
Yeah.
And so the thing with
him being at the
not to like jump in here with that where you're saying it's a fantasy interpretation. I'm like, I feel like my comment at the beginning of the movie was like, literally, this is why you need to go to Eastern like doctors or like Eastern healers because I feel like an Eastern healer would have seen this kid being like this and being like, I feel like he's sensing something and I feel like you shouldn't take this job and end of movie.
Yeah. But you know, that's
the
whole
ending.
crux of this story is that it's very much a white people story.
Indeed. And so
a story that exists only because white people have abandoned their own sense of spirituality.
I have a question because I interpreted the end with it zooming in on Jack Nicholson in the photo of the 1920s party. I took that as him joining the ghosts of the hotel.
Yes.
Meaning I could be led to believe that he wasn't in the photo before, and then when he died, he appeared in the photo. But what you're saying about him like having returned to the hotel, now I'm wondering, was he there in the 1920s presently, or did he show up after he died because do you know what I'm saying?
Did they show the photo beforehand?
They do not. Okay. So it is asking you that question of what a lot of this movie is about is like asking you questions of like, what is the nature of the reality that is presented here? And so it's asking you, okay, was he always in that photo, or is this something that like the hotel has trapped him here and now he appears in the photo? And I think that is it is kind of messing with your mind and making you question the nature of the reality that is presented.
Yeah. I do think someone should cut this film up so that it's like an hour and a half though. I don't think 2 hours.
There probably is a YouTube version.
They probably should make it because it took like 10 minutes to get one scene across. I was like, I get it. They're running in the maze. Oh my God. How many shots of them running in the maze are we going to have?
I will say, I do love movies and shows that like present questions with no answers. Because I do think that is a very like real thing to like life and existence of like, we don't really know. I guess I am now getting less cranky. I'm still tired, but I'm getting less cranky. And I'm hearing you out. I'm being honest, okay? God, guys, I'm being honest.
There's no judgment on whether or not, like, if you don't like a movie, that's fine.
It's not about, like, because at one point I literally was falling asleep. I was so tired. And it wasn't about the movie being so, it was literally, I am just tired. And also, I think I just had
it was long though. It was too long entirely. Long. It has a slow. Sarah turned to us and was like, "This has a slow burn," and she wasn't kidding.
No, I think I warned y'all because
she said, "Buckle up. We're about to have entirely too long of a."
I think what's also really interesting is, you know, watching the movie from a modern era, because I think that's something that we mentioned a couple times while we were watching it, because there's two moments in particular that stand out to me, is like the when he says the "here's Johnny" thing, and it's like this famous line, and none of us understood that, and then Joel, Sarah's partner, came in and was like, oh well, that's actually a reference to
Johnny
Johnny
Carson.
Carson and like his catchphrase. And I was like, that's a moment that in that time, that line would have been a laugh. That for
Mhm.
us, we were just like, who's Johnny? Right? But then
At some point, Aarti's like, isn't his name Johnny? And Sarah goes, his name is Jack. There is no
I'm
Johnny.
tired,
She's like, who's
guys.
Johnny? Is it the son?
Who's Johnny?
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's a better question.
And I think like, but then also there's that moment at the end where he's frozen, and I didn't realize that was from
so
this movie.
good.
And it fully took me out of the
It's
film.
So good. Same.
It
Same.
fully took me out of the film.
To be fair,
Because
same.
It's so funny.
It's
to
so
us,
funny.
It's such a funny meme.
I did not
It's an
know that meme was from The
iconically
Shining.
funny meme.
And to
I
be
did not know
fair,
it was from The Shining.
Like
but now
the
I
first
feel
time
like
I saw this movie was before that meme even existed. So like yes,
yeah, that's
that
kind of hit
image has
different.
existed, but like it
Yeah.
hadn't become a meme until after because I watched this movie when I was probably like 13.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's like, yeah. And so
Interesting.
I think it's like, it's interesting. And I think even when I kept getting annoyed by things, like Sarah had to keep reminding me, she's like, this is about like a woman in the 70s, like in a marriage, like, you know, and
there
even,
were
even
parts
look
where I
at
was like,
not
ugh.
too long ago, even till today, in some parts of the world, it's still like you get trapped in marriages,
Yeah, like in
that.
this abusive marriage.
Yep.
And like that's the thing, like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
You think that you're with someone who's, whether it's someone you're married to, whether it's friends, whether it's family, you think you have someone good in your life, and then they slowly turn into this, like, you know, and so like I think it is something that is like very real. And I think like, and that's why I said at one point, I was like, I think my trauma is just coming in and blocking me from like allowing me to even like feel right now, because like, yes, I understand that this would be a truly terrifying circumstance, but I think I don't know, like I think I really have to think on this one, because I'm like is it that Jack Nicholson was such a like, I don't know, was he such a horrible character that I just couldn't empathize with it, or that I couldn't even see like, why are you like, you know, like I'm trying to understand like what was the reasoning behind why I was so deeply annoyed by it, rather than like,
no,
allowing
to be
myself
fair,
to feel
I was
that
really
fear.
fucking annoyed whenever he spoke to her, and just because I was like, don't you speak to my Shelley Duvall that way, you prick.
Yes, Shelley Duvall must be protected at all costs.
Oh God, that's a thing. She's very
Ripped to a
cute.
queen.
She's
She's
very
so
sweet.
cute. She's baby, and I want to protect her.
She
But also,
is.
just in general, I was like, ew, a man talking that way to his fucking the woman, by the way, that birthed their fucking child into this world. You better kiss that woman's goddamn motherfucking feet for the rest of her life.
Mhm.
You fucking thankless pig. Like, I can't. It really truly was like, I think that was my least favorite part of that movie was watching Jack Nicholson be a total arrogant prick. He did great. He did a great job.
I think at a certain point, maybe that's also part of it, where for me, I was like, I don't feel like I'm watching a man descend into madness, because I feel like he already started as mad to me.
I think that is a very valid criticism. And I think that like, as far as the filmmaking goes, I think I see more of the lead up, but I think from his performance, I think Jack Nicholson is just a very unsettling person
Yeah.
in general. So
Sorry, I love
It's
that we all three agree.
It's that hairline. It's eerie. It's like running
not
away
even-
from you.
It's
You
not
never.
even the hairline.
kidding,
Like,
that's terrible.
yes, the
Oh, yeah.
hairline is not great. I'm sorry, Jack Nicholson.
I'm sorry, Jack Nicholson.
But it's his eyes.
yeah.
There's something about
Well, that's why he was so effective in this movie.
yes, that's why he works.
Yeah.
Like he plays the maniac so well. But
I think it's like it makes the burn harder, because it just feels like he kind of already started out like that's what what I mean. I think you know what, I think that's what's hitting it for me. It's like I think that's why I just didn't enjoy the movie, because it didn't feel. I feel like I was expecting to watch this like amazing slow burn into the descent of madness and questioning everything, and all I just felt was like, this man is a shitty asshole to start with, and like I don't feel like shitty assholes turn into mad.
he's giving Ted Bundy serial killer like from the beginning.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, I see this is coming.
He's like an unredeemable character. He truly sucks.
Oh yeah, he's horrible
through and through. Like,
because I think that would have made the real horror for me is like if you have a character who I think that's where like what actually scares all of us, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think it was Mimi who said this at one point where she was like, I think the thing that scares us is what's more personal or close. And I was like, I think that's what's something that to me would be more terrifying is to watch him be like this amazing husband at the start and that
then
slow
lose
descent
where
like you've made this choice to stay locked up in this hotel with this person you thought it was going to be a lovely getaway because he is so caring, he is such a devoted father, and then that descent into madness. What would you do in that fucking situation? Because that to me, like even just talking about that right now, like I feel more terrified, I feel more invested than like whatever I just watched.
And I wonder if like Aarti, don't you wonder if that's something future filmmakers took away and said, okay, we got to develop character more?
I mean, it's entirely possible.
I agree.
I mean, like, yeah, I feel like if were it not for this movie, we might still have flat ass characters.
Book series or my favorite Shadow Daddy, but it's like, yeah, like someone like Xaden is like, yeah, you watch. It's like, what would you do? Like that to me is such like Onyx Storm breaks my fucking heart, right? In a way that like this just was like, okay, you're married to a horrible man that you should divorce, honestly.
Yeah, divorce immediately. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but also I like multifaceted characters, and I don't think, to be fair, his character feels a little one-dimensional. Shelley Duvall, my sweet baby angel's character, feels a little one-dimensional as well. She was crying for almost the entire movie, and I feel for her. That girl, like, I think filmmakers took it upon themselves, or rather trust their viewers enough now to be able to make assumptions about characters without having to completely exposition heavy them, but do it in a way that uses cinematographic elements to tell bits about their backstory. But like making them like, for example, I will say like Hereditary, right? I rewatched Hereditary recently, and in it, the woman makes miniature houses. Like that's not a job everyone has.
Okay. Also, Mimi, please no spoilers.
That's not a spoiler like at all.
Because I do want to eventually watch that movie.
Sure. But I will say that like that is a very particular kind. There was nothing we really got about any of them except for maybe the kid is weird and he's got some weird psychic thing going on. And also, Tony lives in his mouth. I hate it. Why is he living
Except
in his
when
mouth?
he hides. Don't forget that Tony hides in his stomach.
He does?
Yes, that's what he says. He goes,
Ew.
the doctor asks in the beginning, like, oh, if I look in your mouth, will I see Tony? And he goes, no, he hides in my stomach. Which I think is interesting because that's where like your gut is. Like that's where your
child
like your
needs
instinct
a little bit of therapy, I think, at least.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But also, like, the mom, like,
we didn't know anything about it. Okay.
Danny Torrance's sad life.
Yeah, for real. He's just a haunted little fucker.
Yeah, bless his heart.
But also back to how Dick's character was like, The Shining could be a good thing. Because he did. We were talking about this during the movie. Didn't he like summon Dick through their shining ability to be like, homie's in trouble.
Yep.
Which I think is like very like you said, it's very like there's a very spiritualness. There's a lot of spiritualness to Stephen King, and I think that's interesting because like when I went to the Mike Flanagan talk, Mike Flanagan talked about that, and I think that was something that like made me feel a pull to be like, okay, now I want to explore Stephen King if that's the person that like brought that to Mike Flanagan and made him want to do horror. And I was like, yeah, like in like Eastern belief systems, I guess, like that sensitivity to energy is not a bad or good thing. It's whatever you make of it. It's whatever you choose to do with it. And I think like I think there were parts of this. I don't know. Now that I'm talking more about it and we're talking more about it, I'm like, okay.
And to be fair, I think that like I've seen this movie many times, and I think that it gets more interesting the more immersed you get into like Stephen King,
The lore,
but also just like in the research and the time period and like immersing, like seeing that this is a snapshot, like a fantastical snapshot of how people handled these kind of issues in their time. And I think that's what's really interesting to me, with a lot of watching specifically old horror movies. And obviously that's true of like old movies in general. You can go back and like, but horror movies I think are interesting to me because they give you a snapshot of what people in the time are afraid of.
Yes, what they consider to be truly horrific and true horror. Yeah.
And it's a bit like learning the cultural history of like how we evolved from one point to another, of like this is the era where divorce was becoming more popular and women were realizing they could leave.
Yeah.
In white American culture, that was like a slow process.
Yeah,
and
like I'm sad it took her the whole movie, but she did leave. Good for her.
She figured it out.
She did, and I'm glad she got to, because I don't think, had this movie been made this year, there's no way in hell Shelley Duvall would be allowed to go on her merry way in a snowmobile with her child, and all ends well. I truly couldn't even imagine that. I didn't. That was the biggest twist for me. I was like, and then they lived happily ever after. He dies? That's even better. Like, what do you? I don't know. I guess we've gotten a lot more morbid as of late.
And the funny thing is that like Danny Torrance as a character is actually like a very hopeful, heroic character in the whole like Stephen King canon. So
right, because they did actually escape via Dick's snowmobile. So him calling Dick over, even though he got axed to death, R.I.P. Dick, thank you so much for your service.
Yes.
But he like it was him arriving there that got them to escape in the first place.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Danny. I still don't know about Tony. Are The Shining
Tony's
and Tony
weird,
two different things?
I don't remember. It's been a minute.
I don't like Tony. I don't
revisited the Tony lore. I need to go back and rewatch Dr. Sleep. But
yeah, you were telling us that's why Dick called him Doc, because the whole Dr. Sleep thing.
Yep.
That is crazy. Now it feels like they're X-Men. I literally said, I feel like they had not telekinesis. Telekinesis? No.
Telepathic powers.
Yeah, telepathic
powers.
Yeah, where they could like talk. I don't know. But it feels like two X-Men being like, yo, come save me.
I mean, that's kind of exactly what it is.
Yeah. Truly. I wonder if that's how X-Men was born. I don't know.
I feel like the X-Men might have already been out.
No, yeah.
So this might have been like a Stephen King reads some X-Men comics.
True.
Turns them horror.
Yes. I love it. Okay, so in terms of what we would rate it, we said scaries, right? First.
Yeah, you guys should go first.
Okay, the first is how scary it was. The second is how much we liked it.
Honestly, I am going to give it a 0.25 on scary. And the reason it's going to get a 0.25 is because you all kept telling me that there was a really scary point that was going to happen.
I didn't say that.
I don't think we said that.
Well, or like, I think you guys said it's a slow burn and then something scary will happen.
You guys promised me gore. Like, what?
Well, and then like there was the moment when he was walking to the room 237 where I was like, oh my God, this feels like the moment where something is going to change and it's going to get scary now. And so for like 0.2 seconds, I was like scary. I sang my scary song and nothing happened. So I will give it a 0.25
on the scare scale.
I want to give it a 0, but because there was 1 second of like me being scared, I will give it a 0.25. And because Sarah said I'm not allowed to scare things or rate things as not scary, I want to rate it as a 0.
Well,
you know what? Can I just rate it as 0? Am I allowed to rate it as 0?
You are allowed to rate it as 0.
Whatever you want.
What my argument for the last one was because you were scared several moments throughout.
No, and that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
Yes.
And so I've said that you had to give it a little bit of scare.
Yeah, I had to give it a little bit of scare. I kind of want to give this one.
But you weren't scared through this movie. So
I was annoyed.
0,
but I think
I don't care.
Okay. I'll give it a.
Yeah, I think in terms of like what I expected
0.
versus what it was, definitely, I would also agree with you a 0. What would you rate in terms of 0 scaries out of 10?
Yeah.
How would you rate it in terms of how much you liked it?
I'm gonna go last. You guys go.
No, you're going first.
No, because I think I don't have an answer yet. That's why I'm like, I need time to think. So
All
you
right.
guys go.
Okay, I would give it probably also a 0 out of scaries. It was I struggled to try to figure out whether or not I want to give like my person. That's probably where I'm leaning more towards, is giving my how it personally scared me versus how scary I could see it being to people maybe who saw it in theaters when they were younger at the time, whatever. Because obviously there's like blood and stuff, but like I think so many memes it's been so many years that so many memes have come out of it. Like that blood elevator meme has definitely been used to be like, when you cough on your period. Like, it's like, I can't see that scene as anything other than the GIF it's been sent to me as. So it's like, that's why I think so I'll give it a 0 because I wasn't scared at all. And likability, I'll give it a 2 out of 10 scaries. I mean, scaries being the like, the stars in this case, but 2 out of 10 for likability because I really love the little 1920s lore of it all. That part is very endearing to me. For some reason, I really I like to think that he appeared in the photo after passing away and that he joined all the other people that have died at the hotel. Although I guess I'd be pressed to ask why all of them are from the 20s and what happened in the 20s at the hotel and why everyone died there.
Yeah, what happened in the 20s?
I don't know. I guess it's another question. But I do love the 1920s of it all. I don't know. That part really struck me as like cool. Okay, Sarah.
Oh, nope. Aarti's got to give her rating.
I'm still thinking.
I'm going last.
No,
I gotta go last. I gotta go last.
It's a stand-up.
Because I have a feeling that I know what direction you're leaning in as far as likability.
I don't even know. I like genuinely, I really do need time.
All right. Well, I don't want this to influence your number at all, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay. Scare scale. I think for me, it's hard to rate it because when I first saw it, I was like 13.
Yeah.
So like, and also all the meme stuff didn't exist at the time because memes weren't a thing.
Yeah.
I'm
totally
aging myself, but
I was alive before the internet.
But the internet existed. It's just memes as we know them now didn't exist. So I think for when I was a kid, I would probably have given it like a 2. Like it wasn't super scary, but like it gave me a little bit of a spook. But now, like, it's nothing. It's 0.
Yeah.
Like it's not scary at all.
I have a feeling it's going to take a lot to even get you to give one scary to something because you got a high scare tolerance.
But I have a very high scare tolerance. At least for movies.
Yeah.
I would say the experience where I struggle with scares is video games. I cannot play scary video games because
it's too POV.
The moment it becomes immersive, I'm like, fuck this. No, I can't have zombies running at me. This is too much pressure.
Oh my God. That like takes me back to watching you play Last of Us.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Terrifying.
Screaming, crying. I can't.
Oh my God.
I literally can't. There's actually
I could only play video games by watching Sarah play video games.
Yeah. Me
and
too.
So we did Uncharted together that way.
Yes.
And then
I love this.
Last of Us terrified me. Last of Us terrified me.
Funny story. So I was doing a live stream at work one time that was Five Nights at Freddy's, and it was a VR live stream.
Oh my God.
And we had a heart rate monitor on that like the audience in the live stream could see.
Oh, no way.
And my heart rate playing this stupid VR game spiked up to like 190 or something. And at that point, I was like, I have to stop. I'm going to have a heart attack. I have to stop.
Yeah. Wow.
So for whatever reason, just the moment it becomes immersive, I can't do it. But for likability, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. This is one of my favorite movies.
10 out of 10?
10 out of 10.
I thought it was 10 with 10 scale. Okay, not 5 out of 10.
And it's not, I'm not saying, like, it's not to say, like, I don't understand people not liking it. I totally understand people not liking it because I think that it's a hard movie to watch. And it's also, like, so of the time,
Yeah.
and so like, and I think the Jack Nicholson like being one note, 100% totally agree. I
Right.
think it's just like,
It's like you can love it and hate it, but also
yeah.
it's one of those films that has gotten this cult following, and you can't help it
I'm
if you
one of
join the
those
cult.
cult members.
Exactly.
I love this movie. I really like I've only seen a few Stanley Kubrick movies, but I really, really like his style. And I don't like him as a person because he's trash, but I like his filmmaking style, and I like the slow burn, and I really like the like mind fuckiness that he tries to do in a lot of his stories. So it is a very near and dear movie to my heart.
Nice. All right, final answer, Aarti.
Do you
gotta
see
give
why
it.
now I wanted to go last?
Yeah, I gave it a 2 out of 10. Sarah gave it a 10 out of 10.
I feel like she gave this beautiful, heartfelt speech, and I'm just about to like.
No, but Aarti, again, it's the whole idea of like this movie does something to some people's brains where they're like, yes, that was an itch, and this movie scratched
Here's
it.
the thing. I think for me, here's where I'm struggling. I'm going to be really honest about where I'm struggling. I'm struggling because is it a movie I will ever watch again?
Right.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Same.
I get that.
Not.
Same.
I
But
was
Sarah's
so
watched it like
annoyed.
18 times. Okay.
I think
I'm joking.
no, the thing I feel bad about, to be clear, is that she gave this beautiful heartfelt, and I want that to be the end of like.
That's why I was over here producing this podcast, telling you that you should go first.
But I feel like I'm just struggling because I do understand that, like, it's like Mimi said, there's this whole thing where like you can you can see how much inspiration this movie did for so many people, and also that thing of how like sometimes the things that we dislike are the things that inspire us to like do better, right?
Right.
And
Or just culturally, like I feel like now we know when things are like I think
I still don't have an answer, because for me I'm like,
no, you gotta just pick a number between 0 and 10.
Well, because like,
and that's your answer.
my perspective on this is that like a movie like Hereditary doesn't exist without The Shining.
And I think that's where
American
I'm like,
Horror Story season 1 does not exist without The Shining. Yeah, we talked about the whole like the idea of like him making out with the hot naked chick in the bathtub, and then she turns out to be all gross. They did that in American Horror Story with the maid being all hot to the guy, but then to everyone else, she was an old maid.
Is entirely composed of homages. Like,
yes.
That is all it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
She can't decide. She's not sure.
I think
I just don't
I think yours is 5 out of 10. I have a feeling.
I want to say that.
Okay.
I want to say that, but it's just like, I'm like, I'll give it like a 3 to 5 out of 10. I don't know.
Range.
This
is now a therapy podcast to help you get over your indecisiveness.
I'll give it. Here's the thing. I will, likability wise, personal likability wise, I will give it a 3 out of 10.
Great.
However, However, I will say I understand the reasons that people love this movie. I understand the way that it has inspired so many people, and I understand the beauty of it. And I want, like, that's what I want to be clear on. And I think that's where I was just waffling so hard, because I'm like,
should we add a third category potentially, like scariness?
Like
what we liked, and then icon
appreciation.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing. That's where I was waffling so hard, and I don't want to annoy you guys with that, but like I really do think that's where I was waffling, because on a personal level, there was the way I felt. But
so
also
that could be the
the
3 questions we answer. We rate the first 2, which is scary and likability, and the third one we say whether or not we think that it deserves the accolades it has. For which I think we are all on the same page, which is yes.
Yeah. To which, Sarah, how do you feel about the accolades of this film?
I mean, I think they're well deserved. I would say that I would give, as far as like, is it a perfect movie? That's the question of like, I would say give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10
Mhm.
as far as like
Right.
being
Cinematographically, like out of the box.
Yes,
and,
like not everything is exactly what would have maybe effectively told the story. To your point about like Jack Nicholson is one note and like things like that, but yeah, as far as like film education, I still stand by the 10 out of 10.
I really love that this podcast is literally going to be like a film education podcast, and I'm obsessed with it. I love it so much
For
because
horror
in
nerds.
college, I double majored in film media and film studies because we would watch a bunch of films throughout those classes, but they were usually like psychological films, and they were more on the side of like Another Earth, which is a psychological movie, and like Requiem for a Dream, which I fucking hated. But they're more of like the whoa, like mindfucky dream ones. I wish there was like a horror movies. I'm sure there is. I'm sure you could
There's definitely
find
electives like
an
that
elective
people
of
can
that.
take.
But I feel like this is truly like culturally, I do appreciate that I now can say I've seen The Shining. You know? I'm like, hell yeah.
And you know where the memes come from
Yes. We're so much smarter, Aarti.
I don't feel smarter for having watched this
Well,
film. I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel smarter, but I love that for you, Mimi. I love that for you.
My brain just grew like 3 times. No, it was a trip. I'm glad we watched it, and now we don't ever have to watch it again. I mean, Sarah can in another
I
couple
will
years.
at some point.
Just as a feel good little. She's gonna have it on in the background.
I like it. I like the movie.
Sarah's kids are definitely gonna be like, I watched The Shining when I was 2.5.
I would.
Mommy had it on in the background. No, I'm
I
kidding.
might dabble around 11, 12.
Yeah, because it's like, come on, that's not that scary. That is a movie that, like,
I could totally see Sarah's kids like sneaking into the stairs while Sarah watches it after.
That is what I did as a kid.
Yes,
my
it's a
mom,
rite of passage.
I would be like 5 or 6 years
It's a rite of
old, and my
passage.
mom would be in her bedroom watching Army of Darkness.
Oh hell
And I would
yes.
I would sneak in and just peek around the corner and watch the movie with her. And after a while, like, I think I just watched it so young that I didn't know that I needed to be scared of it a lot of the time. Like, there were movies that scared me.
There's also stuff that
but-
kind of goes over your head as a kid,
But also, like,
but
the funny thing is, like, the movies that scared me the most were not horror movies, because I watched Army of Darkness, I watched Evil Dead at a very young age. But Jurassic Park scared the living shit out of
really,
me.
I thought you were saying
Wait,
giraffes
really?
for a second. I was gonna
Giraffes.
they were like
They're just-
giraffes.
their necks are so long.
terrifying.
Like, they just don't make sense.
Their necks are so long. That's hilarious. Jurassic Park. No, that's how I feel about it. There is
But
no
that's
movie.
legitimately a horror movie.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't get scared at. I will be genuinely surprised. I'll say this again. I'll be genuinely surprised if one of these movies, and I hope it does. I hope I am proven wrong. That there is one movie in this list that ends up being really scary, and I have a feeling it's going to be the Japanese version of The Ring.
I
have
am
also not seen that, so that is
terrified to
gonna
watch
be
that
an
one
interesting
because that
experience.
is the American version is the one that terrified me as a kid.
Yeah, I think
Like,
the
I
Japanese one
could not
is
sleep
even
for
worse.
years after watching that movie.
The
I wish I was
Japanese are on
kidding.
another level.
They really
if we're
are.
being honest.
They really are. Okay, let's wrap it up by asking our question. At the risk of sounding like a cult member, I will sleep tonight.
Oh, I'll sleep tonight. I'm just annoyed, but I'll sleep.
Aarti's like, I would probably be less cranky if I had slept before this.
Right, right.
Honestly. I'm so
Um,
sorry.
But yes, absolutely. I'll sleep like a fucking baby. tonight.
Yes. And the question is, will you sleep tonight? Ooh. Check out the next episode. What's the next one we're going to be
Oh, God,
watching? I
don't
should
know.
probably have it on my notes somewhere. Hold on. I definitely have it somewhere.
Sorry.
Yes, I have it right here.
I didn't-
Scream. The original
Oh.
Scream.
That's gonna be fun. You're gonna like that
That's
one.
is that the movie that originated slashers?
It didn't originate.
Oh.
It is a satire on slashers.
Is it?
Yes.
This is also why I can't wait to get through this list because movies like Scary Movie 1, Scary Movie 2, Scary Movie 3, all the ones that parody all these
Are we
movies are going to make so much.
Because
We
if we
should.
watch those would make me so happy. I
We
love those
will
movies.
after
Sarah's
we watch the
face
movies.
right now is saying no.
We
She's
will
not going to let us do
after
that.
we watch the movies that inspired them, or that that they're satirizing. Whatever. Anyway,
Sarah's giving
see
me
you
a
next
look.
week. Bye.
No,
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Yay, you made it to the end of the episode. Thank you again for listening to Creepers Peepers. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Patreon, and Instagram at Creepers Peepers Podcast. If you'd like to reach us directly, feel free to send us an email at creeperspeeperspodcast@gmail.com. Don't be shy, feel free to leave a comment. If you can, please leave a 5-star review. It would really help us out. Thanks again for listening, and feel free to check out our other episodes.